Hi, everybody. I hope your week is off to a nice start. It's a beautiful day outside. We had a cold front come through this morning. Tomorrow is the start of astronomical fall, or autumnal fall, I should say, for folks in the Northern Hemisphere. I do say astronomical because in meteorology, meteorological fall actually starts September the 1st. September the 1st, meteorologists like to recognize the start of September as changes in weather patterns. But in terms of what's happening up with the Earth-Sun relations and the revolution of the Earth around the sun, astronomical fall occurs tomorrow, so September 22nd. So we'll experience our September equinox, and we can officially say fall has come into town. But we did have a nice cold front this morning, so that's what I'm showing you here on my screen. So on the right-hand side, you can see the weather graphic from the National Weather Service with today's highs only going to be in the 80s. That's really nice. But on the left-hand side, I actually wanted to explain to you what's happening here. So this is a surface map. And from these surface maps, meteorologists can decipher what's going on with the current state of the atmosphere at the surface of the Earth. And so there's a lot of information that's shown on this map. The first thing I'd like you to check out are the actual wind barbs that are on here. So if you just step back and look at what's happening, say, across the panhandle of Texas or Oklahoma, you're going to find that most of the winds are kind of coming out like that in this direction, right? And they're moving down towards the south. And then again, if you just step back and try to focus in on an area where you have a very obvious change, you can see down near Brownsville or along the Gulf Coast, for example, the winds are coming out of the south, moving up towards the north. So stepping back, you're going to find that the wind pattern definitely differs across Texas. So something's going on there. The other thing you can look at are the temperatures. So if you scan with your eyes the temperatures up in North Texas, Panhandle, Texas, Oklahoma, out into New Mexico, you're going to find that most of these temperatures might range from the 50s to the 60s, even to the 70s. So basically right in here, you have this air mass that has temperatures in the higher 50s, 60s, 70s. So we can group those together like so. Again, if you look at what's happening down south, you're going to find that along the Gulf Coast and in South Texas, we're in the 80s and the 90s. So in terms of temperature, there's an obvious distinction between temperatures across Texas, right? A temperature gradient exists. We can also take the time and look at the pressure, which is shown on here. We can look at the dew point temperature, which is also shown. We can look at changes in cloud cover. But all in all, guys, just with these two pieces of information that were introduced, we can say, hey, somewhere across here, there's an obvious boundary that exists. And of course, that boundary we call a cold front boundary, right? And so you guys will learn more about this as we dive into the class later on in the semester. But for now, it's good for you guys to recognize that these surface maps exist. There's lots of information that help us determine where the boundaries are. And so then we can come over here to the Weather Service and they can make a nice, cleaner graphic for the public, put that boundary like so. And, you know, it looks prettier to see, much prettier than what's happening here on the left side of my screen, which is very messy and cluttered, but also very fascinating because this is all firsthand data. So one more thing I want to show you, if I come over here to satellite imagery, we can see what's going on with our clouds. And so if you look at the surface map that I was just painting for you, there's some little blue dots that are painted here. There's also a couple of symbologies that have little purple dots on them too. There's a funky little thunderstorm symbol. We can get into that later, but all in all, along that boundary, there's some sort of cloud activity that's happening. And so you can see that very clearly here on satellite imagery. If I go to another satellite like this one, this is prettier to look at. You can see where that cold front boundary is, right? So right now it's somewhere in, well, South Central Texas, moving down there to those folks, right? So they have yet to feel the cool temperatures that we're feeling up here in San Angelo. Meanwhile, we just have some higher upper level clouds passing through. So if you walk outside right now, you should see perhaps maybe some clearing, right? You should see some clearing depending on when you watch this video. But if you happen to catch it now, you might be able to actually get a glimpse of those higher cirrus clouds. All right, guys, if you have any questions about anything, please make sure you reach out anytime during the semester. Bye.